What does a nameplate at a wedding table reveal about the person seated there? For Emily, it was a label that stung, a snapshot of her life reduced to single mother waitress. The words glared up at her from the crisp white card as she stood in the glittering banquet hall, her sister's wedding unfolding in a swirl of laughter and clinking glasses. Emily's heart sank. She smoothed her second-hand dress, the one she'd saved for months to buy, and glanced at her son, Ethan, playing quietly in the corner with a toy car. She was more than those words, wasn't she? Emily had arrived at the venue with a fragile hope. Weddings were supposed to be joyful, a chance to celebrate love. But for her, they often felt like a spotlight on her struggles. At 28, she was raising Ethan alone, working double shifts at the diner to make ends meet. Her sister, Claire, radiant in her white gown, had always been the golden child, perfect grades, perfect job, now a perfect husband. Emily loved her fiercely, but the comparison stung. She'd overheard relatives whispering about her situation before, their pity laced with judgment. Tonight, she'd vowed to hold her head high. The table setting was meticulous, each nameplate carefully printed. Claire had insisted on assigning seats, a touch of elegance for her big day. Emily's eyes scanned the other cards: doctor, attorney, entrepreneur. Then hers, single mother waitress. It wasn't just a description, it felt like a verdict. She forced a smile as Ethan tugged at her hand, asking for another juice box. She wondered who had written it. Claire? Her mother? Did they think it defined her? The evening unfolded with toasts and dances, the air thick with celebration. Emily kept busy, helping Ethan with his plate, dodging small talk with cousins who asked, "Still at the diner?" She nodded, her throat tight, and excused herself to the restroom, needing a moment to breathe. In the mirror, she saw a woman worn thin but unbowed. She thought of the nights she'd stayed up studying for her online accounting course, the dreams she still nurtured for a better life. She wasn't just a waitress. She was a fighter. Back at the table, the mood shifted when her Uncle James, a gruff but kind man with a voice like gravel, took the microphone. Emily froze. Uncle James wasn't one for speeches. He'd always been the quiet one at family gatherings, sipping his whiskey and observing. Now, he stood at the front, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on her. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "I want to talk about someone here tonight who doesn't get enough credit." The room hushed. Emily's pulse quickened. "My niece, Emily. Her seat says single mother waitress, but that's not her story. Not even close." He paused, and Emily felt every eye on her. Ethan looked up, confused but curious. "Emily was 19 when she became a mother," James continued. "She could have given up, but she didn't. She works harder than anyone I know, pouring coffee, balancing trays, and still coming home to be everything for her boy. She's studying late at night, chasing a degree, building a future. That's not just a waitress. That's a hero." Tears pricked Emily's eyes. She hadn't known Uncle James noticed. He went on, his voice cracking. "When I lost my job years ago, Emily was the one who slipped me grocery money, no questions asked. She's the one who calls to check on me, who remembers Ethan's soccer games, who never complains. So tonight, let's raise a glass to her, not to a label, but to a woman who shows us what strength looks like." The room erupted in applause. Emily's cheeks burned, but for the first time that night, it wasn't from shame. Claire rushed over, tears streaming, and hugged her tightly. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I didn't think about the nameplate. I'm so proud of you." Ethan climbed into Emily's lap, his small arms wrapping around her. "You're the best, Mom," he said simply. As the band played on, Emily felt something shift inside her. The nameplate still sat on the table, but it no longer defined her. She was more than those words, more than the whispers, the pity, the struggle. She was Emily, the woman who kept going, who loved fiercely, who dreamed big. Uncle James's words echoed in her heart, a reminder that her worth wasn't in a title, but in the life she was building, one determined step at a time. Later, as she danced with Ethan under the twinkling lights, Emily caught Uncle James's eye. He raised his glass, a silent salute. She smiled back, her heart full. The wedding wasn't just Claire's night anymore. It was a moment for Emily to reclaim her story, to stand tall in who she was and who she was becoming. And in that crowded room, she felt seen not as a single mother waitress, but as a woman whose strength lit up the world.